learning theory. These are the some theories of cognition and social learning. So you know that cognition means thought process. In the cognition, especially the Tolman's theory of cognition, here he explained learning was it's a purposive behaviorism in his major systematic work. Purposive behavior means this purposive behavior also linked with the Gestalt theory of Wertheimer. You know, Gestalt theory, that is, Gestalt means holistic coordination. So the term Gestalt is derived from the, it is German word, which means overall, holistic, or you can say it is the German word. The meaning of this German word is holistic, integrated part. If you want to think about one aspect, you need to think in a holistic manner. That is the way of the German scientists, Wertheimer, Kohler, and Koch. These are the three important scientists developed this Gestalt type. Even Tolman also, Tolman also. So that is same. That is he also supported this theory of Gestalt theory. So here in this case of Tolman, there are some experiments here he mentioned in the textbook also. So the place of learning experiments, reward expectancy, law of acquisition. These are the some important these aspects of Tolman's. As Gestalt theory mentioned that holistic thinking is the main important aspect in learning. When you think in a holistic manner, then only it is easy to learn something. Even in the experiment also, one experiment, I think you might have heard about your previous graduation or in your first year at maybe graduation classes. One experiment that is known as the chimpanzees experiment. Okay, in that chimpanzees experiment, the name of the chimpanzee is Sultana. He mentioned the name also in that experiment. Okay, in that experiment, chimpanzee, they kept this chimpanzee, the animal, in a room. In that room, there are two wooden boxes, and the delicious food of that animal is kept in the room, hang in the room. Okay, in that room, there are some materials. One is a wooden box. Second is a bigger wooden box. One is smaller one. Another is this bigger. Then two sticks. Those two sticks can be fixed within 1 and 2. So in that experiment, they kept the delicious food of the chimpanzee. Why we are mentioning that? They are mentioning in the experiment delicious food means, so the food that is delicious, the animal, it may be any person, even an individual also, he will try to get that food. He will try to get that object. So that is the reason delicious food is kept in that room. Here, the animal, here mentioned, why every time some animals are used in this learning theories, even experiments also, because it's not so easy to conduct the experiment, to administer the experiment on the humans. That is the reason they use it to administer, they use it to conduct the experiment on some animals like rat, dog, pigeon, chimpanzee. So such that animals in some aspects, some experiments, our psychologists, when they administered some tests, experiments, so they use it to conduct the experiments on some animals. So here in this Gestalt experiment, chimpanzee is the animal, they use it to prove their learning as principles. So here they kept that this delicious food of like bananas. So here that animal try to get that food. There are 4 different objects kept in that room. There are 4 different arrangements mentioned in that room, arranged in that room. Here, if the animal think about only one object of that room, for example, only one box. One box is a bigger one, another is a smaller one. Differently, if they see that boxes, it's not so easy to get that food. Then two sticks, one stick is bigger one, another stick is a smaller one. The arrangement is that the both sticks can be fixed. So here, differently, if the animal think about the different objects in that room, so it could not get the food. But whereas the animal holistic thinking, if the animal, if many person, even the individual also, holistically, overall, coordinated way, if we think, then only we will get some idea. And you can say in that particular experiment also, they use the term sudden flash of idea. Sudden flash of idea. By coordinating all this material in that room, sudden flash idea, due to the sudden flash of idea, the animal kept one box, basically, then second box, on the first box, then first stick, then second stick. Fixing the both stick, then only it will get the food that is hanging in that room. Got it? So here, coordinating of all this material that are there in that room. So by coordinating, by thinking in a holistic manner only, it is easy to reach the goal. So here, cognition, why we call it as a cognitive theories? As I mentioned, cognition is the understanding capabilities, perception, knowledge. If the perception of that particular animal is in a systematic way, in a holistic way, the understanding capability of that particular animal is in a holistic way, in a coordinating way, then only it is easy to get the food. So here, even Gestalt or even this Tolman also, that just the only one difference between the Gestalt and the Tolman is that is law of acquisition. When they get the food, acquiring that food, acquiring that object, acquiring that material. So it is a drive, one drive, it is mentioned in the which distinguishes certain respect from the theories. So it is easy to motivate that animal. So it is just like a drive. When the animal reach that goal, some sort of object, some sort of material, some sort of food, it acquires. So acquire law of acquisition. Then one is another thing is reward expectancy. So that they expected some sort of reward. That is the reason this type of trials, this type of goal achievement. So one is law of that is acquisition, then reward expectancy, some expectation on the reward. So then latent learning. So here in this case also, there are some sort of, as I mentioned, learning is modification. Yesterday also we have discussed about that there are some factors of learning. One is learning is change in behavior. Learning is changing in performance. Learning is external behavior or internal observable behavior. These are all some factors of learning. Here in this case also, so expectation and reaching the goal. So before thinking in a coordinated way, before thinking in a holistic way, the behavior is somehow it is different. After thinking in a holistic manner, after thinking in a coordinating manner, so the behavior is a positive way. So even the performance also, before understanding a holistic way, the performance is the low performance. But after thinking in a coordinating and holistic way, the performance is the highest performance. So the performance change is here. and the behavioral changes are also observed in this particular case. So that is the reason learning is modification of behavior or changing in behavior, changing in performance, and it is observable. Okay, some of you are not responding, maybe some reasons of their uh, medium of instruction. Just I'll explain the same thing in a different way in Telugu instruction stuff. Anyone from your Telugu background?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Here there are two important these aspects in this Tolman as well as the this Gestalt theory. Gestalt theoryలో కానీ టాల్మన్ థియరీలో కానీ ముఖ్యమైన విషయాలు ఏంటంటే గెస్టాల్ట్ థియరీ అనే దానికి వెర్దమర్, కోహ్లర్ అండ్ కోహ్లర్ ఈ ముగ్గురు కనుక్కున్నటువంటి థియరీ గెస్టాల్ట్ థియరీ. ద గెస్టాల్ట్ టర్మ్ అనేది జర్మన్ వర్డ్. దానికి ఇంగ్లీష్ పదం ఏంటంటే హోలిస్టిక్, మొత్తంగా ఆలోచిస్తే, కోఆర్డినేట్ చేసుకొని ఆలోచిస్తే. సో ఇఫ్ యూ థింక్ ఇన్ ఏ ఓన్లీ వన్ సైడ్, ఇట్స్ నాట్ సో ఈజీ టు లెర్న్ సంథింగ్. ఒక్కగా ఆలోచిస్తా ఉంటే మనకు అర్థం కాదు. దాన్ని అన్నిటి కూడా కలిపి కోఆర్డినేట్ చేసుకొని ఆలోచిస్తే, మొత్తంగా ఆలోచిస్తేనే మనకు అర్థమవుతుంది అనేది ఈ యొక్క గెస్టాల్ట్ థియరీ. టాల్మన్ థియరీ కూడా అదే గెస్టాల్ట్ థియరీని సపోర్ట్ చేస్తూ టాల్మన్ థియరీ ఏం చెప్తున్నానంటే బిహేవియర్ అనేది మార్చడానికి, బిహేవియర్ చేంజింగ్కి కొంత ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్, గోల్ ఓరియంటేషన్ అవసరం అని చెప్తుంది. సో ఇక్కడ లా ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్ అంటే మనం ఏదైనా పొందుకోవాలనంటే, మనం ఏదైనా పొందాలనంటే, మనం ఏదైనా తెలుసుకోవాలంటే, మనం ఏదైనా కనుక్కోవాలనంటే సంథింగ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు డూ దట్ ఎఫర్ట్స్. ఏదైతే మనం చేస్తామో దాన్ని బట్టే మనం కొన్ని విషయాలు పొందగలుగుతామని చెప్తుంది ఇక్కడ. తర్వాత ఈ పొందే టైంలో మనకి ఏదైనా రివార్డ్ కావాలంటే, బహుమతి వస్తుందని ఆలోచిస్తే, బహుమతి వస్తుంది నాకు అని అనుకుంటే దెన్ ఓన్లీ మనం ఎక్కువ ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాం. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ టాల్మన్ గెస్టాల్ట్ థియరీ చెప్తుంది ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆల్ సేమ్, కానీ బట్ ఒక విషయంలో మాత్రం గెస్టాల్ట్ అనేది హోలిస్టిక్ గా ఆలోచించమని చెప్తారు. టాల్మన్ ఆల్సో సపోర్టింగ్ ద సేమ్ గెస్టాల్ట్ థియరీ, బట్ హియర్ సమ్ అదర్ థియరీస్ ఆల్సో హీ యాడెడ్ ఇన్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ థియరీ. దట్ ఈస్ ఎక్స్పెక్టెన్సీ, లా ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్, దెన్ రివార్డ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టెన్సీ. ఒక రివార్డ్ని, బహుమతిని పొందగలుగుతామని అంటేనే మనం ప్రయత్నం చేయగలుగుతాము. దెన్ దానికి మళ్ళీ ఏం చేస్తామంటే రివార్డ్ పొందినప్పుడు అగైన్ వి విల్ లెర్న్. If you get some sort of reward, we will try to learn and relearning, later learning also. ఒక రివార్డ్ పొందిన తర్వాత నేర్చుకోవటము, మళ్ళా నేర్చుకోవటం కూడా జరుగుతుంది. దిస్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఏ డ్రైవ్. ఇది ఒక మోటివేషన్ గా ఉంటుంది మనకి. సో హియర్ లెర్నింగ్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ఏ మోటివేటెడ్ వే. సో ద మోటివేషన్ మే బి ఇంటర్నల్ మోటివేషన్ ఆర్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ మోటివేషన్. Motivate by his own self is internal motivation. Motivation by seeing his environment, by seeing others, by seeing his peer group, by seeing the siblings, that is the external motivation. ఈ మోటివేషన్ ఇంటర్నల్ గా కావచ్చు, లేకుంటే ఎక్స్టర్నల్ గా కావచ్చు. సో ఆ మోటివేషన్ వల్లనే కొంత నేర్చుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది. నేర్చుకున్నప్పుడు ఏదైనా పొందడానికి వాళ్ళు ఏదైతే ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నారో, ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్ చేసి పొందితే మళ్ళీ అగైన్ దే విల్ లెర్న్. So this is one cognitive. As I mentioned, the cognition is a thought process. How you perceive, how you understand. Here, as I mentioned, the holistic way, when the animal think in a holistic way, so reaching the goal is easier. It is easier to reach the goal. And when they reach the goal, some reward, when they got the reward, so again relearning. Again, it will try to learn something, try to get something. Okay, so this is one important. Then second one is Kohler's theory is different. Kohler, even he also one of the member in the one of the scientists, one of the inventor, one of the developer in the Gestalt theory. But separately, Kohler insight learning is different. Kohler insight. Insight means, what is insight? Seeing in her own self. We know there are some methods of psychology. Initially, when the psychology subject started in your first book, in the first chapter, there are some methods of psychology. One method of psychology means observing the behavior. It is a behavioral science. One is insight Okay, insight. Second is the method of insight. Insight means or introspection. Introspection means seeing his own self. One method of psychology is introspection. Second is observation. Third is experiment. Fourth is case study. Fifth is the surveillance. There are some other methods. These are the some 4 or 5 important methods of psychology. So here, Kohler's insight is nothing but introspection. Insight, there are some, we select the information. In insight means, so when we learn something, what are the information you got? We have the information you focus on. So we select the information first. According to the Kohler's insight learning, there are some important processing methods of ways of learning. One is we select the information first. We select the information. Whatever the information we read, we got, we select that information. We make alternatives in the selection of information. We have, for example, if we have some information, there are so many informations you'll get, but only we select some selected information according to the Kohler's theory of insight learning or Kohler insight learning. As I mentioned, Kohler also one of the founders of Gestalt theory. I repeat, there are 3 important developers, or there are 3 important scientists who developed the insight learning theory, or you can say Gestalt theory. First, Gestalt theory, from the Gestalt theory, insight. One is Wertheimer, W-H-E-T-H-M-E-R, Wertheimer. Number 2 is Kofco, K-O-F-C-A, K-O-F-C-O. Third is the Kohler, K-O-H-L-E-R. These 3 psychologists invented the Gestalt theory. As I mentioned, the term Gestalt is derived from the German word, which means holistic, whole. So here, even the Kohler also one of the members of the Gestalt psychologists. So here in the Kohler's insight learning, insight means introspective. Here, whatever the information, we select the information according to the Kohler's insight learning. Then we make the alternations in the selection of information. We have different type of alternations. We have different type of options in selecting the information. Then we form association of items of information with each other. Yes, see here, because he is also one of the members in the Gestalt psychology. So the third point is we form association of items of information with each other. Association means linking. As I mentioned in the previous experiment, so linking of one smaller box and to the another bigger one. Linking, connecting of one smaller stick with the bigger stick. So linking and coordinating, fixing, then only it will get the food. So coordinating, linking, associating different items of information. That means when you are think in a holistic way, in a coordinating way, by parts you can't, if you divide by parts, you can't learn something. As per the insight learning is mentioned here, according to the insight learning of Kohler, we form association of items of information with each other. Then we elaborate the information in our thoughts. So we analyze, we elaborate the information in our thoughts. Then we store the information in the memory. See how it is. So we retrieve it when we need it. We reproduce it when we need it. I repeat, in the Kohler's insight learning, as I mentioned, Kohler also one of the members in the Gestalt theory. So here, according to the Kohler's insight learning, one is whatever the information we received, we select that information, number 1. Number 2, we make alternations in the selection of information. So whatever the information we received, only some information we select. In the selection process also, we have different type of systems, different type of options, different type of alterations. Through our various sources, through our various options, through our various methods, we select the information according to the Kohler's insight learning. Then we'll form association of items, information with each other. What are the items we got? What are the items in that information we received? We coordinate, we associate, we link in that information. Then we elaborate the information in our thoughts as per our thought process, as per our cognitive capabilities. We elaborate the information, we analyze the information. Then we store the information in our memory. Based on our analysis, we store the information in our memory. Then we retrieve and we reproduce it when it is needed. Got it? For example, in any this classroom situation, for example, that is the physics class is going for 8th class or 9th class. Okay, so Newton principle. So the explanation of the teaching, the topic of the teaching is principles of Newton's principle, maybe Newton's third law or first law, second law. What is the Newton's third law? Every action is having equal opposite reaction. Okay. Even the second principle also, based on the second Newton's principle, F is equal to ma. F is force, ma is mass, A is the acceleration. Okay, here in this explanation, in this topic explanation, so here first in the insight learning, I'll give the example of insight learning. So here we select the information, whatever the topic, whatever the method of teaching is going on, whatever the teaching is going on, whatever the topic is explanation in the classroom. First, the student select the information. Oh, this is the force. F means force. So F is equal to ma. So that the different with them, you know that there are methods of teaching, different methods of teaching. For example, if the teacher is selected the method of lecture method, lecturing method, there are some methods of teaching, lecture method, demonstration method, okay, heuristic method, laboratory method. For example, in the class, lecture method is going on. So the teacher is explaining that particular topic through the lecture method. He is giving or she is giving some sort of methods, that is lecture method. So here, whatever the 50 minutes class may be, but whatever the explanation from the teacher may be, the student receives only some type of selection, some type of information, not overall method, overall information may not be in a position to teach, to receive, but he receives only some selected information from the physics class. Okay, so he has his own ways of selecting the information. Means by writing, or by observing, or by focusing only on blackboard, or by concentrating of the teacher's teachings. That is the different ways of getting information. Through these different ways of information, through these different ways of methods, options, he selects the information. Okay, number 3. Then it forms some sort of association from different items of that information. As I mentioned, maybe the second principle, first principle of Newton, even the third principle of Newton. So F is equal to ma is one formula, for example. Even the gravitational force has. So here in this, any topic of Newton's principle of the gravitational force. So here the link of different items, like F is equal to ma, for example. The link between F, M, and A is that the product of mass and acceleration is equal to F. So that is the linkage between the different terms, different items of that information. So linkage between the link or association, the connection or the relation between the F, M, A is mentioned here. The product of M and A is F force. So the linkage between these two items or three items means association of items. What are the information? What are the items in that information? There should be some association or linkage according to the insight. Through that linkage only, the information is gathered, the different ways of getting the information. Then fourth one is that he or she elaborate the information, that thoughts. We elaborate in our own way of receiving that information. We elaborate, we analyze the information in our thoughts. Oh, this is the analyzation. This is the elaborate information. Means F, M, A. This is the acceleration. This is mass. This is force. And this is the action. This action is this. Reaction is this. Throwing the ball is the action. Getting the same ball with the same speed is the reaction. So this is the various ways of elaborating the information in our thoughts, in any individual's thoughts. That means analyzing the information. This is also comes under cognition. Then we store the information in our memory, our own way. In any individual, we have our own ways of selecting the information. We have our own ways of elaborating the information or analyzing the information, and we have own way of storing the information in our memory. Then finally, whenever it is needed, we reproduce that information. So that is the reason insightful learning, or this is insightful learning is depending on the introspection method. That is, introspection means our own way. Selecting the information is our own way. In our own system, we will select the information. In the selection of information also, we have different options. We have various options. And then linkage or associating the various items in that information. Then fourthly, elaborating the items, elaborating the information, analyzing the information based on our own cognition, thought process. Then we will store that information in our memory. Finally, whenever it is needed, we will reproduce that. We will retrieve the information whenever it is needed. This is the insightful way of learning according to the progress. Any doubt? Yeah. చూడండి ఇక్కడ ఇన్సైట్ఫుల్ లెర్నింగ్ కోహ్లర్ ఈస్ ద వన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ పర్సన్ ఇన్ ద గెస్టాల్ట్ థియరీ. అకార్డింగ్ టు కోహ్లర్ ఏం చెప్తారంటే, మనకున్నటువంటి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏదైతే గ్యాదర్ చేస్తూ ఉంటామో, ఆ గ్యాదర్లో ఓవరాల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వి వోంట్ గ్యాదర్, ఓన్లీ సమ్ సెలెక్టెడ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వి విల్ గ్యాదర్. కొంత ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మాత్రమే మనం తీసుకుంటాం జరుగుతుంది. నెంబర్ 2, ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ సెలెక్ట్ చేయడానికి, మనం తీసుకునే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ తీసుకోవడానికి మనకి వేరే వివిధ పద్ధతులు ఉంటాయి. మూడోది ఏంటంటే, ఆ ఐటమ్స్ ఏదైతే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఉందో వాటిని మనం కోఆర్డినేట్ చేస్తాం, లింక్ పెట్టుకుంటాం. దెన్ ఎలాబరేట్ చేస్తాం ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఎలాబరేట్ చేసిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ని మనం మెమరీలో ఉంచుకుంటాం. ఎప్పుడు అవసరం అవుతుందో దాన్ని మళ్ళీ మనం చెప్పగలుగుతాం, ఉపయోగించగలుగుతాం. లేదా కొన్ని 5 or 6 పద్ధతులు దేనికి సంబంధించి, ఇన్సైట్ఫుల్ లెర్నింగ్ సంబంధించి. ఓకే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఈ క్లాస్ రూమ్ ఉంది. క్లాస్ రూమ్లో ఫిజిక్స్ లెసన్ అవుతుంది అనుకున్నాం. ఫిజిక్స్ లెసన్ చెప్తున్నప్పుడు మీకు తెలుసు న్యూటన్ లాస్, ఫస్ట్, సెకండ్, థర్డ్ లాస్. ఈ న్యూటన్ లాస్ సంబంధించి కానీ, లేకుంటే గ్రావిటేషనల్ ఫోర్స్ లెసన్ సంబంధించి కానీ ఫిజిక్స్లో కొన్ని ఫార్ములాస్ ఉండొచ్చు. For example, F is equal to ma is a formula of physics, maybe related to the mass, acceleration and force. ఇక్కడ ఈ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇస్తున్నప్పుడు టీచర్స్ ఈ లెసన్ అవుతున్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కొంత భాగమే సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటూ జరుగుతుంది. కొంత భాగం అంటే వాళ్ళకు ఉన్నటువంటి డిఫరెంట్ వేస్లో, కొంతమంది by seeing the blackboard, they will receive the information. By writing, by noting important points. కొన్ని important points note చేసుకోవడంలో వాళ్ళ information gather చేయొచ్చు. Then only focusing on the lesson. Teacher మీద కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ చేస్తూ అతను చెప్పినట్టు దాన్ని అర్థం చేసుకోవడంలో వాళ్ళ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గ్యాదర్ చేయొచ్చు. These are different ways of getting information. Then after getting information, వాళ్ళు అనలైజ్ చేస్తారు ఉన్నటువంటి different items of information. Analyze చేసిన తర్వాత then they will keep in their mind, that is storage in the storage information in the memory. మెమరీలో దాన్ని స్టోర్ చేసుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది. Then they will reproduce that information whenever it is needed. ఎప్పుడు అవసరం అవుతుందో ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మళ్ళీ బయటికి తీసుకురావడం చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది. This is one type of learning theory that is known as the Kohler's insight learning theory.
Okay, sir.
Insight, the insight means insight means sudden flash of idea. It is in your book, it is mentioned aha experience. Aha means sudden flash of idea. Sudden flash of idea, aha experience. So when you have sudden flash of idea in your mind, so we will say, oh, aha experience. It is mentioned aha experience in your book. And this Kohler's experiment is mentioned in the book. The name of the book is The Mentality of the Apes. The Mentality of the Apes. Why this book is written? Because he used the chimpanzees in this experiment. Even the experiment also I mentioned here. ఇక్కడ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుందనంటే ఒక రూమ్ లో చింపాంజీని పెడతారు. దాని పేరు సుల్తానా. ఇన్ సమ్ బుక్స్ ఇట్ ఇస్ మెన్షన్ ద నేమ్ ఆఫ్ ద చింపాంజీ ఆల్సో. దే కెప్ట్ వన్ నేమ్. The name of the chimpanzee is Sultan, S-U-L-T-A-N-A. In some other reference book, you can refer the other books. The name of the chimpanzee.
Here also it is mentioned, sir.
The experiment. So we'll a chimpanzee లోపల పెడతారు. That is the ఒక అరటి గెలని పెడతారు. ఆ రూమ్ లో పైన వేలాడదీస్తారు. కింద there are some material, కొంత మెటీరియల్ ఉంటుంది. ఒక బాక్స్ ఉంటుంది, చిన్న బాక్స్, పెద్ద బాక్స్. దాని చిన్న స్టిక్, పెద్ద స్టిక్. ఒక బాక్స్ మీద ఎక్కి ఆ రెండు స్టిక్స్ ని దాన్ని ఫిక్స్ చేసి దాని పైకి ఉన్నటువంటి ఏదైతే అరటి గెల ఉందో దాన్ని కొట్టుకొని తింటది. దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్. సో దిస్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ mentioned in this insightful learning, the Kohler written one book. He mentioned that experiment in that book. The name of the book is The Mentality of the Apes, APES. Mentality of the Apes అనే బుక్ లో ఈ యొక్క ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ ని mentioned. So why it is insight? It means when you see even your own self, when we see in our own self, we will have so many ideas. But problem is that we won't see in our own self. Always we try to focus on others. Always we depending on others' capacities, other capabilities, other competencies. But we have so many competencies, but we won't be least bother about our capabilities. Some of us. Got it? For example, if you have 500 rupees in our pocket, when we identify, when we see, when we know, when we observe, we have 500 rupees in our pocket. When we acknowledge we have 500 rupees in our pocket, then only we use it, we utilize it. But we don't find, we don't acknowledge, we don't observe. If we don't observe we have 500 rupees in our pocket, then what happened? We won't utilize it. We don't know how to. First we have to find out we have 500 rupees in our pocket. Then only use it.
Yes.
But the problem is that here even insightful learning also based on that aspect. Holistic manner, if you understand yourself, then only you will find something from your own self. Even in this experiment also, there are different material in that room, differently, independently, by partly in a different way. When we see that different material in a different ways, we can't think in a holistic manner. When we coordinate whatever the material in that place, whatever the sources in that learning, we will find some solution. When we think in a holistic manner, sudden flash of idea we will get. That sudden flash of idea is aha experience mentioned in our book. Aha experience means sudden flash of idea. In some books, sudden flash of idea. తెలుగులో మెరుపు లాంటి ఆలోచన, సడన్ ఫ్లాష్ ఆఫ్ ఐడియా, మెరుపు లాంటి ఆలోచన. Got it?
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, any doubts? The next, Bandura's social learning theory. Social learning theory, it is, see, there are difference between the insightful learning and the social learning. Insightful learning is by seeing on oneself, we will learn something. But social learning theory is, it is observing the others, imitating others, seeing to others, observing the others and the environment, our peer groups, our family members, siblings, our classmates, our neighbors, the close members of your society. If we observe, by observing society, we will learn something. That is social learning theory of Bandura's social learning theory. Albert Bandura has proposed this type of social learning theory or observational learning theory. In this observational learning theory, there are some procedures. One is attention process. Attention process means those factors that determine you. If you pay attention on something, when we learn something from others, we need to focus on others' activities. Attention process is that. Attentively, when we focusing on others' activities, maybe good or bad, we will have some sort of learning. That is one important process of observational learning or social learning theory. Attentive process, or you can say process of attention. Second one is retention process. Attention process and retention process. What is retention? Retention process means whatever we observe, whatever we learn, whatever we know about after your attention. Okay, so the ways you store away observations for later. So, for example, in the classroom situation, if you learn something from your classmates, how to write, how to memorize the things, how to reproduce, how to explain the topic when the teacher is questioned. If the student learns from other classmates, that is nothing but when they attentively observing the other classmates, then only he will focusing on the things that are happening in the classroom. That is attentive processing or attention process. Second thing is retention process. Retention, whatever the student observed attentively, so that should be in his or in her mind for some time at least. That is retention. Attention process. Second is the retention process. Third is motor reproduction. motor reproduction means in that activity, motor means activities, movements. Okay, the translation from watching to doing. Whatever they observed, whatever they focused, attentively, whatever they learned in the classroom, that should be transferred from attention to doing, watching to doing. Whatever they watched, whatever they observed, whatever they attentively focused in the classroom, that should be transferred into the activities. That is motor processing. Attention processing, retention processing, motor reproduction. Reproducing in activity form. Watching to doing. Some examples I'll give, especially the smaller children, like 4 years, when they entered in the classroom of LKG or UKG, after after reaching their home, what they'll do? They will imitating the teachers, especially in the younger these people. So they will show how the teacher acts in the classroom, how the teacher teaches in the classroom, how the teacher taught in the class. Just by imitating the teacher's movements, they will do something. That means whatever they're watching in the classroom, they shown in through their activities. That means watching to doing. That is known as the motor reproducing whatever they learned, whatever they observed in the classroom. So this third system, a third point in the social learning theory or observation learning theory, rigorous learning theory. Number one, attention processing. Second is retention processing. Third is
Motor reproduction.
Reproducing whatever they observed in the activities. Watching to doing. Whatever they watch, they will reproduce in a motor, in an activity way. Then fourth one is the reinforcement. Anticipating rewards as a motivational factor. Motivational things. Okay, when we give some sort of reinforcement, when we give some sort of rewards, so this is nothing but a motivating the child, motivating the person. If they transfers their watching to doing, we need to say shabash, very good. That is also one type of rewards, that is known as the verbal rewards. Or if you give some sort of gifts, that is the different type of rewards. So reinforcing that person, reinforcing that individual, so he will learn so many other things. In social learning, these are the 4 steps of social learning theory according to Albert Bandura. Number 1 is attention processing, retention processing, reward, that is
Motor
reproduction. Finally, reinforcement. That reinforcement, as I mentioned in the previous class, reinforcement will be in the both sides, that is positive reinforcement as well as the negative reinforcement. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Yeah, first Telugu medium. See, Telugu medium candidates, please just I will use the word same English word, because you need to write the examination English word, English medium. Only for your understanding, only for few English words I will use. Okay, but writing of your examination is only in English, because in PG the medium of instruction is the English medium only. Okay, that is the reason I'll use the same English terms, but just I'll explain Telugu medium for few minutes. So in this social learning theory is propounded, this is proposed by ఆల్బర్ట్ బండూరా ఈ యొక్క సోషల్ లెర్నింగ్ థియరీని చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది. సోషల్ లెర్నింగ్ థియరీకి మరొక పేరు ఏంటంటే అబ్జర్వేషనల్ లెర్నింగ్ థియరీ. or rigorous learning theory and what chapter. Ikkada 4 systems or 4 stages of learning from society. మనం ఇక్కడ సొసైటీ నుంచి నేర్చుకుంటున్నాం కాబట్టి దీన్ని సోషల్ లెర్నింగ్ అని అంటాం. దీంట్లో 4 స్టెప్స్ ఉంటే జరుగుతుంది. వన్ ఈస్ ఒక ప్రాసెస్ ఏమంటాం అంటే అటెన్షన్ ప్రాసెస్. అంటే ఏకాగ్రతగా మనం వింటున్నప్పుడు, ఏకాగ్రతగా మనం అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు దాన్ని ఏమంటామంటే అటెన్షన్ ప్రాసెస్ అంటాం. అటెన్షన్ ప్రాసెస్ నెక్స్ట్ స్టెప్ ఏముందంటే రిటెన్షన్ ప్రాసెస్. అటెన్షన్ ప్రాసెస్ అంటే ఏదైతే మనం అటెంటివ్నెస్తో, ఏకాగ్రతతో, కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్తో ఫోకస్ చేసి వాళ్ళ వైపు మనం అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తాము, దానిని మన యొక్క మైండ్లో ఉంచుకోవడం. దట్ ఈస్ రిటెన్షన్. రిటెన్షన్ ఈస్ దట్. ఓకే, రిటెన్షన్ ప్రాసెస్. సెకండ్ ఈస్ ద రిటెన్షన్ ప్రాసెస్. థర్డ్ ఈస్ ఈ అబ్జర్వ్ చేసిన దాన్ని, వాచింగ్ చేసిన దాన్ని, మనం కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్తో చూసిన దాన్ని, మైండ్లో ఉంచుకున్న దాన్ని మనం యాక్టివిటీ బేస్డ్గా, యాక్టివిటీ రూపంలో, పనుల రూపంలో, క్రియా రూపంలో దాన్ని మళ్ళీ మనం రీప్రొడ్యూస్ చేస్తాం. దీన్ని ఏమంటామంటే మోటార్ మీన్స్ కదలికలు, మూమెంట్స్, యాక్టివిటీస్. మోటార్ మీన్స్ కదలికలు, మోటార్ డెవలప్మెంట్ మీన్స్ కదలికలు, మూమెంట్స్, యాక్టివిటీస్. త్రూ ద యాక్టివిటీస్ వి విల్ రీప్రొడ్యూస్ ఇట్. మనం నేర్చుకున్న దాన్ని, మన మైండ్లో పెట్టుకున్న దాన్ని మనం క్రియారూపంలో మనం చెప్పడం అనేది 3వ స్టెప్. 4వది ఏంటంటే రీఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్. రీఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ ఈస్ దిస్ రీఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ ఈస్ యూజ్డ్ ఇన్ that is operant conditioning theory, positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. సో ఏదైతే మనకి థర్డ్ స్టెప్ లో ఏదైతే క్రియా రూపంలో చూపించడం జరుగుతుందో దానికి కొంత మనం బహుమతి రూపంలో ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ నోన్ యాజ్ ద రీఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్. సో యాంటిసిపేటింగ్ రివార్డ్స్ యాజ్ ఏ మోటివేషనల్ ఫ్యాక్టర్. మనం వాళ్ళని మోటివేట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు క్రియా రూపంలో ఇంకెక్కువ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. సో త్రూ ద మోటివేషన్, వాట్ ఆర్ ద యాక్టివిటీస్ transformed from the watching, from the reproduction, from the retention, so that will be reproduced. So whatever the reproduced, it is easy to strengthening that reproduction by giving some rewards as the motivational things. కొంత మోటివేషన్ చేయటం వల్ల ఇంకా ఆ యాక్టివిటీస్ ని ఎక్కువ చేయడానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. These are the some important steps in the social learning theory. Any doubt?
No, sir. No doubt, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah. And in previously, actually, we need to discuss one small theory, that is Hull's theory. We forget to explain this Hull. It's a very easy theory. Hull theory also depending on the motivation. Hull's drive theory, Hull's drive reduction theory. Hull's drive reduction theory, that is the theory, it is also depending on the important factor of the motivation. Suppose a student wants to secure good percentage of marks, he needs to have a high level of motivation. So this Hull's drive reduction theory, one important topic, one important point of Hull's motivation or Hull's drive reduction theory means motivation is the most important factor in the learning, as the Hull's theory is mentioned here. Okay, here thrust or deprived state which drives the student towards learning. If the thrust, as I mentioned in any learning theories experiment, most of the theories they used animals. As I mentioned in all psychological learning theories, especially learning theories, in all psychological theories and experiments, we use different type of animals. So in this animal, when one term they use it to mention in this experiment, that is hunger and the delicious food. In all these experiments, they use it to use the term of delicious food. Even this chimpanzee experiments also, in the book they mentioned it is a hunger animal, hungry. So why hungry? The thrust and deprived state drives to get some sort of activity. మనం ఎప్పుడైతే ఆకలిగా ఉంటామో, మనం ఎప్పుడైతే దాహంతో ఉంటామో, ఆకలి, ఆ thrust, it leads you to do some activity to motivate you to get something, to achieve that goal. Okay, even not getting good marks, if you motivate the child, he will try to get the good marks in the next examinations. That is a drive. The source of the drive is motivation, according to this Hull's theory. Drive, and this drive motivate you to get something, to achieve your goal. Then habit strengthening. See how it is. The motivation leads you to drive to get something. It gives some sort of habit formation. Got it? So here, ఇక్కడ ఏం చెప్తారనంటే ఆకలిగా ఉన్నప్పుడు మనం ఏదైనా పొందడానికి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉంటాం. ఈ ఆకలి, ఈ థ్రస్ట్, the hunger, the deprived state, it leads you to do something. This doing something is nothing but habit formation, according to this theory. You will habituated to drive something, to do something, because of your situation, deprived situation. When they achieve good marks, if we motivated the child, he will habituated to study daily, some 4 hours or 5 hours. It is the habit formation. The main source of habit formation is motivation. The main source of motivation is his or her deprived state. Clear? Then there are two inhibitions he mentioned in this theory. One is inhibitions can be distinguished into two types. We maybe some cases inhibition may reduction your, that is drive. As I mentioned, there is chance of reducing your drive due to some reasons. One reason is that reaction inhibition. For example, if the child cries for food, but the mother does not attend to it immediately, the child may not respond to eating. That is reduction of drive. This is nothing but reaction inhibition. The reaction of the child is that if the mother is not immediately attending to child to give some food, to feed, what happens? The child may not respond to eat, the child does not respond to get food. It means reaction inhibition. Reaction inhibition అర్థం ఏంటంటే, మనం ఏదన్నా వర్క్ చేయాలనుకున్నప్పుడు దానికి సంబంధించి ఫలితం ఇమ్మీడియట్ గా రాకపోతే, ఇక్కడ ఒక పాప లేకుంటే బాబు మిల్క్ కోసం ఏడుస్తూ ఉంటుంది జరుగుతుంది. ఇమ్మీడియట్ గా తల్లి వచ్చి మిల్క్ ఇస్తే ఓకే, లేనప్పుడు స్లోగా ఏమవుతుందంటే ఏదైతే ఆ ఆకలి ఏదంటే ఆ తీసుకోవాలనుకున్న కోరిక తగ్గడం జరుగుతుంది. దిస్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ రిడక్షన్ drive reduction. Whatever the drive, it is reducing. Whatever the thrust, it is reducing. So that is nothing but reaction inhibition. Second one is the conditioned inhibition. In this effect of learning, the experiment is positive, that is outcome is set. If the outcome is satisfactory, then there is a chance of getting more. There is a chance of trying more. But the satisfactory result is not there. Then conditioned inhibition. Here the condition is that whatever she tried to get something, but satisfactorily he couldn't get that object. అది అందకపోతే ఏమవుతుందంటే స్లోగా ఆ డ్రైవ్ అనేది తగ్గిపోతుంది. అందకపోవటం ఒకటి, సాటిస్ఫాక్టరీ సంతృప్తికరంగా అందకపోతే then slowly the drive may be reduced or reduction. So that is the reason this Hull's theory is known as Hull's drive reduction theory. Drive reduction. There's a drive, then motivation, then getting that, then finally there are two reasons of not maintaining that drive, not maintaining that goal orientation. One is reaction inhibition, second is the conditioned inhibition. With this cognitive theories as well as social learning theories. Any doubts you can ask, otherwise we will move to the next topic.
So latent
Sir, the
learning
top-
conclusion evara?
Which
Not
one?
there in the sir. Just now the topic you have discussed, it's not there in the textbook, sir. After Bandura's social learning
See,
theory,
madam, it's one thing. So, in previous class also, only you are focusing only on your material is sufficient, because you are the postgraduate.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse
Some
me,
extra
sir.
information
It
I am
is
giving.
there.
Page number
I'll
177.
try to- It is there in page number 177, sir.
No, it is there in some topics. Maybe
Please
you
note.
find some topics in your textbook or material. What
Sir?
are experiments I am mentioning here, like chimpanzee experiment, rat experiment. If you refer some other books, you'll get the information. It's only some limited information mentioned in your textbook, in your material. This is not sufficient. Okay, for your postgraduate point of view, examination point of view, it's okay. But yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Latent learning conclusion evara, sir?
Latent learning.
First this, sir. Cognitive learning lo latent learning undi kada. Tolman's latent learning.
Yes.
Just
Here, the
conclusion
Tolman's
evara,
theory
sir?
of later was called purposive behaviorism in his major system. Purposive behavior in animal and man, later he called as a Gestalt theory on expectancy. Latent learning, this is fundamental concept of Tolman's system, and at the same time continues to be a controversial topic in the contemporary learning theory. Latent learning is hidden learning which goes on observed, but which under certain conditions can be revealed in the performance. Latent learning experiments show that an experiment can learn by exploring the maze without food or water. So here, one thing I'll explain here. Here, there are two important situations here. One is, ఒక ర్యాట్ ని చూపిస్తారు ఇక్కడ. ఆ ర్యాట్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే లోపలికి వెళ్తుంది, బాక్స్ లోకి వెళ్తుంది, కేజ్ బాక్స్ లోకి వెళ్తుంది. కేజ్ బాక్స్ లోకి వెళ్ళి ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్ లో యాక్చువల్ గా అది as I mentioned, in every time the hungry animal, you try to do it, you try to mention it in your examination also. It's a hungry, okay, and delicious food. Delicious food is kept in the cage, in the box. అది ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ఆకలిగా ఉన్నటువంటి ఏదైతే ర్యాట్ ఉందో తిరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. తిరుగుతూ ఉన్నప్పుడు అది ఎంటర్ అవుతున్నప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ వెళ్ళినప్పుడు దానికి ఎక్కడో అటు ఇటు తిరుగుతున్నప్పుడు లోపల బాక్స్ లోకి వెళ్ళి ఆ వేలోకి వెళ్తుంది, దారిలోకి వెళ్తుంది. వెళ్ళినప్పుడు అక్కడ ఒకవైపు ఎక్కడో ఆ మూల మీద కొన్ని గుళికలు ఉంటాయి, కొంత మెటీరియల్ ఉంటుంది, దట్ ఈస్ ఫుడ్ మెటీరియల్. అది తీసుకొని వెనక్కి వచ్చేస్తుంది. అది ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, దానికి అలవాటు అయిపోయింది. ఫస్ట్ అనేది ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్ లో బై ఛాన్స్ హీ కుడ్ గెట్ ద మెటీరియల్, దట్ ఈస్ ఫుడ్. బట్ వేరేస్ సెకండ్ టైం వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్ కి సపోజ్ ఇట్ విల్ టుక్ సమ్ 15 to 20 minutes టైం, సెకండ్ అటెంప్ట్ కి అంత టైం పడుతుందా? సో
No, sir.
దానికి తెలుస్తుంది ఎటు వెళ్ళాలో ఆ ఫుడ్ కోసం. ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్ కి సంబంధించి స్లోగా తెలుస్తుంది. వెన్ దే గుడ్ ఫుడ్, అది ఫుడ్ తీసుకున్నప్పుడు సెకండ్ అటెంప్ట్ కి వెళ్ళటానికి అంత టైం. సో దట్ ఈస్ లేటెంట్ learning after some time. Is it okay? Any doubt?
Okay, sir.
And one more thing I want to explain here. If you have some other sources of getting books, so better to refer those books. It is clearly mentioned in the experiment. See, madam, try to understand here the situation. See, we need to complete nearly 25 units within the 16 classes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Only depending on this material is not sufficient for your postgraduate examination. Want to get knowledge of psychology in postgraduate level. So better to refer some books. That is the reason we have given some assignments to refer so many books. Don't depend only on this material. It's my sincere advice. Okay, next one. Summaries, memory. What are the names I am mentioning in the Wertheimer, Kohler, Kofko, and experiments? These are all there, not there in our book, in your textbook. Anyway, so now 18th unit, that is memory. So after this class, we have only 4 classes, I think. No, it's the fourth one. Another
Yes,
4 classes. We need to complete the total units up to 25th unit within this remaining 4 classes. Okay. Yeah. Memory. Here, first of all, what is memory? Memory, definition and nature of memory, stages of memory, then types of memory, models of memory. Those topics we will discuss possibly today. Anyone? What is memory?
Okay, sir.
To remember something is memory, sir.
To remember, that is remember something is memory.
Memory, and moreover that which knowledge is acquired as and when we are using, that is also called memory.
Okay.
So it's a system of receiving information and processing that
Processing that, then?
and retrieving whenever it is necessary.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So memory is one important, crucial aspect of our cognition. Memory also comes under our thought process or cognition. As I mentioned, understanding, knowledge, perception. The same way, memory also one crucial aspect of our cognition. So it's as I mentioned, if we did not process memory, we won't be able to remember the past. Some experiments of memory, even forgetting also, administered by Ebbing-Haus, Ebbing, Ebbing, Haus, Ebbing-Haus,
please repeat, sir.
Ebbing, 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 Haus, Ebbing-Haus, conducted experiments on memory and forgetting also. According to the Ebbing-Haus, memory is reproduction of memories, reproduction of or reproducing of whatever we learned and experienced in the same form and same manner. I repeat, according to the Ebbing-Haus, Ebbing, Ebbing-Haus, Haus, memory is reproduction of we learned and experienced aspects in the same form and the same order. Same form and same FORM, same form and same order. Got it? That means in memory, there are some important steps, stages of memory. First one is encoding, coding and encoding. When we focusing on some activity, when we focusing on something, when we focusing on somebody, so that will be registered in our mind. Okay, so that registration process will be that is depending on each. It's varying from one person to another person, one individual to another individual. Got it? So that is encoding. That is your own way of coding and encoding. Whatever we learned, whatever we observed, whatever you see, whatever we experienced, registration in our mind, receiving registration in our own way of coding and encoding. That is the first stage of memory. It is nothing but putting in memory in your own way. It depends on your own way. It's depending upon your own option. What are the information you received? You will receive that in your own way. That you will put in your memory in your own way. That is encoding. First stage of memory. Second stage is storage. Receiving in your own way, in our own way. Then second is storage. Keeping it in your mind. Receiving or encoding, putting in a memory, and keeping it. It's nothing but retention. In other words, it is retention. Then third one is retrieval and getting it out. It's nothing but getting it out. These are the three main stages of memory. Putting in memory, keeping it in, it means storage. Third is reproducing or retrieval. Whenever it is needed, we need to retrieve it. These are the three stages of memory. Then types of memory. Some type of memory he mentioned. Sensory memory, temporary storage of sensory information. So here, temporary storage of sensory. What of the information we need to store in our sensory systems? So here the sensory memory capacity is very high through your sensory organs. You are receiving this information. That is the way this is known as the sensory memory. So the capacity of sensory memory is very high because through your sensory organs, through your senses, you are receiving that information. That is the reason this type of storage of information is high. Then duration is less than 1 second. It is high, capacity high, but it's only for few seconds storage sensory memory. Second one is short-term memory. So brief storage of information currently being used. Capacity is limited. Then duration is less than 20 seconds. Third one is long-term memory. Long-term memory. It means it's a permanent storage of memory, but it's unlimited. Long storage memory is unlimited memory. Then duration is for the longer period. Here, in the sensory memory, just through sensory organ, just we will see, we will do something, we will get information, we will receive the information through our sensory organs. So here it is, the capacity is high, but it's only within seconds only you will forget that. So the first type of memory is the sensory memory through our sense. Second type of memory is the STM, short-term memory. Short-term memory, that means whatever the information you will receive for the short term only. For example, when you enter into the cinema theater or when you travel in a train, they will allot in a cinema, it is when you enter into the cinema theater, they'll give some sort of number system, numbers, seat number, or the train sleeper number. Okay, that sleeper number, that seat number in your the cinema theaters, it will only you will remember that only for a few minutes. After that, you won't remember it. You will forget it. Then sensory memory also, when you see it, when you hear it, only for few seconds only you will remember. Then after that, you won't remember it. You will forget it. That is the sensory memory. Short-term memory means only for few seconds. It is 20 seconds. After that, you will forget it. Then long-term memory, LTM, is for long period. For example, our surname. Okay, it's a long term. So there are some types of memory based on the how capacity, how the duration of that memorized things in your mind. Based on this, 3 types of memories. Three stages of memory, then 3 types of memory. I'll explain. Then I'll go for the next one. So 3 stages of memory.
Sir,
Yeah.
skill will comes under long-term memory.
Skill will comes. Yeah.
Skill.
Under long term. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Even our parents, name of our parents, name of our, that is our surname, our what is hometown name. This all comes under the long-term memory. It's very, it is mentioned. It is some based on the time that you memorize the things, based on the time only. These are the 3 types of memories. Any doubt?
And moreover that these memories are need-based only, no, sir?
Yeah, drive-based, need-based, and term also comes. Time. Okay. Yes. These are the 3 important things. Again, I repeat. One is a definition of memory. So, if in Ebbinghaus అని అతను EBBINGHAUS. Ebbinghaus defined memory is reproduction of memorized things in the same form and same order. It is the definition of Ebbinghaus. He administered many experiments on memory and forgetting. Ebbinghaus. ఇక్కడ 3 stages of memory. ఒకటి ఎన్కోడింగ్. ఎన్కోడింగ్ మీన్స్ మన మైండ్ లో పెట్టుకోవటం, మన ఓన్ వేలో పెట్టుకోవటం. దట్ ఈస్ పుట్టింగ్ ఇన్ అవర్ మెమరీ. మన మెమరీలో పెట్టుకోవటం అనే దాన్ని ఎన్కోడింగ్ గా చెప్పుకుంటాం. నెంబర్ 2 స్టోరేజ్. స్టోరేజ్ మీన్స్ కీపింగ్ ఇట్ ఫర్ లాంగ్ టైం, అట్లీస్ట్ సమ్ టైం. ఆ స్టోరేజ్ లో పెట్టుకోవడం అనేది ముందు తెలుసుకోవటము, రిసీవ్ చేసుకోవడం అనేది ఫస్ట్ స్టేజ్. ఎన్కోడింగ్, కోడింగ్ అండ్ ఎన్కోడింగ్, దట్ ఈస్ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ లేదా రిసీవింగ్, ఫస్ట్ స్టేజ్ ఆఫ్ మెమరీ. సెకండ్ ఈజ్ స్టోరేజ్, కీపింగ్ ఇన్ అవర్ మైండ్. దీన్ని ఇంకొక ప్లేస్ లో రిటెన్షన్ అంటాం, రిటెన్షన్. థర్డ్ ఈజ్ రిట్రీవల్ ఆర్ రీప్రొడక్షన్, రీప్రొడ్యూసింగ్ వెన్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నీడెడ్. దాన్ని మళ్ళీ చెప్పడం. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ మొదటి స్టేజ్ ఏముందనంటే దాన్ని మైండ్లో తీసుకోవడం, కోడింగ్ అని అనుకోవడం, రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ చేసుకోవడం, నేర్చుకున్న విషయాన్ని, తెలుసుకున్న విషయాన్ని, చూసిన విషయాన్ని. రెండవది స్టోరేజ్ పెట్టుకోవడం, దాన్ని రిటెన్షన్ అని కూడా అంటాం, అంటే మైండ్లో పెట్టుకోవడం, నేర్చుకున్న దాన్ని పెట్టుకోవడం. మూడవది ఏముందంటే ఎప్పుడు అవసరమో దాన్ని అప్పుడు మళ్ళీ అప్పచెప్తాము, నేను మళ్ళీ రీప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడం, పునరుత్పత్తి చేయడం, రీప్రొడక్షన్, రిట్రీవల్ ఈస్ దట్ ఈస్ ద. ఇవి 3 స్టేజెస్ మెమరీకి. దెన్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ మెమరీలు ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి అంటే సెన్సరీ మెమరీ ఒకటి, అంటే మనం యొక్క సెన్సరీ ఆర్గాన్స్ ద్వారా చూడటము, వినటం ద్వారా కొన్ని సెకండ్స్లో మనం దాన్ని మెమరీలో పెట్టుకుంటే దట్ ఈస్ సెన్సరీ మెమరీ. ఇది చాలా హై, అంటే కెపాసిటీ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది కానీ బట్ కొన్ని సెకండ్స్ మాత్రమే మన మైండ్లో ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి ఇట్స్ ఓన్లీ టెంపరీ. దెన్ సెకండ్ వన్ ఈస్ STM, షార్ట్ టర్మ్ మెమరీ. కొన్ని అంటే అఫ్ కోర్స్ అప్ టు 20 seconds వరకు మన మైండ్లో ఉండేదాన్ని మనం షార్ట్ టర్మ్ మెమరీగా చెప్పుకుంటాం. ఓకే, సో ఇది బ్రీఫ్ స్టోరేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అవర్ మైండ్గా చెప్పుకుంటాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ సినిమా హాల్ టికెట్స్. మనం సినిమా హాల్ ఎంటర్ అయినప్పుడు ఆ గేట్ నుండి ఎంటర్ అయ్యే వరకే కొంత టైం వరకే ఆ టికెట్ నెంబర్ గుర్తు పెట్టుకుంటాం. వెన్ యూ సీటెడ్ ఇన్ దట్ సీట్, మనం ఆ సీట్లో కూర్చున్నప్పుడు మర్చిపోతాం. నోటింగ్, దానికి యూజ్ ఏం లేదు కదా, నీడ్ బేస్డ్ ఆప్షన్ లేదు కాబట్టి దాన్ని మనం మర్చిపోతాం, వదిలేస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ ద షార్ట్ టర్మ్ మెమరీ, STM. థర్డ్ వన్ ఈస్ ద LTM, లాంగ్ టర్మ్ మెమరీ. లాంగ్ టర్మ్, లైఫ్ లాంగ్ గుర్తుంటాయి కొన్ని కొన్ని, లాంగర్ పీరియడ్, లాంగ్ టైం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మన సర్నేమ్, పేరెంట్స్ నేమ్, మన ఊరి పేరు, మన బర్త్ ప్లేస్, దిస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ కమ్స్ అండర్ ద లాంగ్ టర్మ్ మెమరీస్. ఓకే, అంటే ఇక్కడ చూడండి బోత్ స్టేజెస్, ఎస్పెషల్లీ talk about this long-term memory లో కొన్ని మనకి చాలా అంటే ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఆఫ్ LTM అంటే అర్థం ఏంటంటే లాంగ్ టర్మ్ మెమరీకి మన మెమరీ ఎక్కువ పెంచడానికి ఏమేమి ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుందంటే రిటెన్షన్, రిప్రొడక్షన్. When you register the information, when you receive the information through coding and encoding, మీకు తెలుసు కదా ఎంట్రాన్స్ న్యూరాన్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, అది those things will be response ఇస్తాము. Through their response, coding and encoding process, then it will be there for long time. Sensory memory example, by seeing it will be picturized in your mind through your, for example, konni sensory memory ki one example is that then if you see one beautiful picture, that will be printed in your mind through your sensory organ. That is the best example of sensory memory.
Yes.
Got it? Sometimes when you you know that one important thing I want to explain here. If you read that the interpretation of say dreams, ఎవరైనా చదివారా interpretation of dreams? Anyone of you? Sigmund Freud's book of interpretation of dreams. Anyone? Dreams interpretation ki dreams in కలలు ఎందుకు వస్తాయి? Why the dreams? He mentioned there are 5 reasons of getting dreams in that interpretation of dreams. Sigmund Freud's book, that is interpretation of dreams. Here one example he mentioned in that book. That example is like that. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Someone you asked that example of sensory memory. No, I am already given the example of sensory memory, but still I am explaining elaborately. I am explaining this.
Yes.
So here in this case of this interpretation of dreams, in that book, the name of the book is Interpretation of Dreams, written by Sigmund Freud. Okay. In that interpretation of dream, there are some reasons he mentioned in that is interpretation of dreams. That there are some reasons of getting dreams. Okay. Yeah. The example is that one person traveled in a train or a bus. ఒక బస్ లోనో ట్రైన్ లోనో ప్రయాణం చేస్తూ ఉంటాడు ఒక అతను. ప్రయాణం చేస్తున్నప్పుడు అది ఆయనకి సడన్ గా బస్సు మళ్ళా స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఎక్కడైతే ఆగిందో ఆ బస్ స్టాండ్ లో మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. స్టార్ట్ అవుతూ పోతున్నప్పుడు ట్రైన్ ఆర్ బస్ ఐ రిమెంబర్ బట్ అది స్టార్టింగ్ పోతున్నప్పుడు ఒక అందమైన అమ్మాయి కనిపిస్తుంది అక్కడ. ఇట్స్ వెరీ ఫ్యూ సెకండ్స్, విత్ ఇన్ ఫ్రాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ సెకండ్స్ అతను చూస్తాడు ఆ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ఫేస్ ని. ఓన్లీ ఫ్రాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ సెకండ్స్ బస్సు ట్రైన్ మూవ్ ఉన్నప్పుడు he just through his sensory means అతను చూడటం జరుగుతుంది. అది బట్ he didn't recognize it. ఆయనకి అర్థం కాదు, ఆయన చూసినట్టుగా కూడా ఆయనకి ఆ ఫీలింగ్ ఉండదు, బట్ అది పిక్చర్ పడిపోతుంది మైండ్. Got it? So here the sensory organ received that picture, that beautiful picture. But how he related this incident to the interpretation of dreams means అతను ఏం చెప్తారంటే సిగ్మండ్ ఫ్రాయిడ్ ఆ బుక్ లో ఏం చెప్తారంటే there is a chance of getting dream based on the picture. One reason of getting dream is that according to the Sigmund Freud's interpretation of dreams. అర్థమవుతుందా?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is the best example of, it's not mentioned in our book, but it is best example of sensory memory. కొన్నిసార్లు మనకి ఈవెన్ don't know whether మనం చూసిన విషయం కూడా మనకు తెలియదు, but the sensory organ, the picture that he receives that picture and it will be stored in your mind, but only for few seconds that experience, but that experience that the impact of that experience is very less. That is the reason he mentioned it. The capacity is very high. It is mentioned in the book also. Sensory memory capacity is very high. But maybe for few, even fraction of second. What are the example I mentioned here? Only it happened fraction of second. Already train more to unnappudu, station lo adi more to unnappudu, that incident happened through his sensory organs. Yeah, so these are the some examples of sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. These are the types of memory. Then how to organization of long-term memory. See, a long-term memory ki what are the reasons, what are the various factors of getting long? ఎక్కువ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవడానికి, మీ memory develop చేసుకోవడానికి, what are the suggestions you will give to the students or any other clients? మనం ఏమేమి సజెషన్ ఇస్తామంటే, there are some ways of getting good memory or long-term memory. How to organize the long-term memory, how to improve the memory. Number one is that, as I mentioned, registration, concentration, and focusing. Focusly, with concentration, you need to see the things, you need to learn something, you need to retrieve the information. మన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏదైతే చూస్తున్నామో, ఏదైతే చేస్తున్నామో, ఏదైతే పని చేస్తున్నామో, full-fledged concentration తో చేయాలి. Number one, so that the registration is, it's in a high temporalities. Registration proper ga untundi. That means if you listen, if you understand, if you focus with full-fledged concentration, means registration process is in the higher level. Number one. Number two is retention. What is retention?
Storage, sir.
Storage in your mind for long time. ఒక లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ మెమరీ ఉంటుంది, మీకు కావాలంటే మీరు సెర్చ్ చేయండి. దాంట్లో 7 stages ఆఫ్ మన, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, యూ నో దట్ మనం చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి ఒక మాట వింటా ఉంటాం. ఏమని అంటే, అరే నాన్న ఎప్పుడు తప్పుడు చదువుకోరా, ఏ రోజు ఆ రోజు చదువుకోరా అని చెప్పేసి. గాట్ ఇట్? మన తాతమ్మలు వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్తుంటారంటే, మన స్కూల్లో పోయి పిల్లలకి ఏం చెప్తారంటే, అరే బాగా వింటాను ఆయన, అక్కడ విని ఏ రోజు ఆ రోజు చదువుకోరా నాయన అని చెప్పడం అనేది మనం చాలా సందర్భాలు విని ఉంటాం, ఈవెన్ ఇన్ ది రూరల్ ఏరియా ఆల్సో. ఓకే, so why in that word there is a scientific meaning, scientific reasons of that particular word sentence. Why? Because, for example, if whatever you learn today, now it is now 11 o'clock or 11:30, whatever you learn today, whatever you received the information today, within the 24 hours, if you are not memorized that, if you are not memorizing, means మళ్ళొక్కసారి దాన్ని చూసుకోవటము, లేకపోతే చదవటము, లేకపోతే మీకు మీరు అనుకోవటము, రికాల్ చేసుకోకపోతే, వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్? విదిన్ 24 hours టైం, సమ్ percentage of whatever registered in your mind, it will be deleted. That is one study, it is one research study is mentioned here. Within 24 hours, some percentage of things will be deleted. Then within 7 days, like some 40 to 50% of whatever we learned, if you won't remember it, won't recall it, it will be deleted from your mind. You know, after 1 month, how much is deleted? Nearly 79% of whatever registered in your mind, it will be deleted, it will be forget. Means only 20% will be there in your mind, if you won't recall within the 31 days or 30 days time. So here retention means you need to retentiveness, you need to remember it. It should be there in your storage for a long period of time, so that memory can be improved. Then third one is that meaningful learning. Meaningful learning. Okay, whatever you focused on that particular aspect, meaningfully you have to learn. Meaningful learning is also one important. Then finally, as I mentioned in our definition, reproducing, retrieving it in a same form and same order. So that is the reason the tips of memory concentration, generally what we suggest, you better to recall it, remember it whenever it is possible. For example, today you just around 11 o'clock or 11:30, you learned about something, stages of memory or types of memory. If you read it within the 24th time, once or twice, it will be there in your retention. Retention will be increased within the 24th time if you recall it, remember it, or read it. So the retention, the storage is increasing here. That is the retentive process increasing here. Or if you suggest the children to read the same lesson within the same 24 hours time, if they learn that aspect, that topic in the classroom around 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So better to read the same topic, better to recall the same topic, better to remember the same topic in the same day. So then it begins after 7 days. Again, it's better to read it, so that you are increasing your capacity of retention. Retention is increasing, improving your retention. Then at the time of examination, once if you refer it, if you read it, if you recall it, if you remember it, automatically, without any hurdle, you can write the examination. That is the way we suggest to the students. Maybe any level, 10th class level, inter level, PG level, whatever the level of education may be. That is the way to improve the long-term memory or any memory type. Even the types of long-term memory also, procedural declarative memory. That is one type of long-term memory. Procedural, and if you know the process of that, that is that way of getting the information, the procedural system or you can procedure of the memory, we can easily. So then second one is episodic or semantic memory, then organization of memory, then retrieval of the process. These are some tips of improving the memory, some systems of improving the long-term memory. Any doubt?
So
Any
within
doubt?
24 hours of time, how much percentage of what percentage is lost? Sir? Please repeat it.
It is one list I'll give you if it is possible. Now it's already 11:35. No, so I think next class has already started. So I'll get that next. You just remind me. I'll give the list of that. That is research is that is one research is conducted. So after 79 days. After 30 days, only 79% of memory you'll get. The rest of the 79% of memory you will forget. Only 21% will be in your mind. Okay. Anything else?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah. So rest of the topics in this memory we will discuss in the later classes. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please post the any slides or any information.
Slides. Myself,
Any information, any important information apart from the textbook or something, you please share it in the group, sir.
Okay, I'll try because I'll be busy. You know that I'm so busy with other activities. That I won't...
Okay, sir. If it is possible only.
Okay. So,
thank you, sir.
Okay. Right. So slides, it's not possible for me because I think no need of slides. See, my class is like that. Once you listen my class, that is my way of giving lecture here. So if you note the main points, it is easy to write examination and get the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I slides and PPTs. I won't generally prefer.
Okay, sir. Thank
Anyway,
you.
if you have any doubts, you can ask in the this last 55 minutes. That is the reason I'm allotting some time. Okay.
Sir.
Even somebody is asking about some important questions, please. So
Sir.
you are the postgraduate students. You see, one more important thing I want to explain here is that. So after completion of your postgraduate course of psychology, you want to be some these professionals in the psychological field, no? So better to get proper this knowledge and understanding about the subject.
Sir,
Only
refer any book related to
I
these
already
principles of
mentioned 2-3
psychology.
times. I've given the
So,
book. Yeah.
sir, please once again repeat, sir.
So there are some books of this, even market also books are available. That is Introduction to Psychology. That is one book.
Okay.
The others
Sir,
are
other
different.
name, sir?
Indian others are there. All other foreign others also we have. It is Introduction to Psychology or Introducing to Psychology or Invitation to Psychology. Different titles. Invitation to Psychology or Introduction to Psychology. Your Indian authors are that is Madam, that is our previous department head of Yr-MSc University. Okay,
Okay.
Dr. Beena, Dr. Parameswaran.
Dr. B.
Dr. Beena, B-E-N-A. Dr. Beena is the
Okay.
of the head of the psychology department of my university. Previously, she retired, and she is the
Okay.
registrar of that university. Also, ex-registrar. Dr. Beena and Parameswaran, sir.
Okay, sir.
And we have some other foreign authors. The same title is same.
Okay, sir.
And S.K. Mangal's book of psychology, general
Yes.
psychology, S.K. Mangal's publications, S.K. Mangal.
SK Mami.
Yeah, S.K. Mangal, general psychology. All
Okay,
topics,
sir.
more or less, all topics are covered in these 2 books.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. That's all.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
I tried to download the books from Google, but it's not available. So we have to buy, I think so.
Yeah, these books are available. That is the reason I mentioned these 2 books are available anywhere. Okay, these 2 books are available anywhere. At least even the Hyderabad, with the Sultan Bajar and Koti, even any area, even Secunderabad, Central Bookstore. There are so many books. These books are available. They are common books available anywhere.
So, sir, the topic name is Introduction to Psychology.
Yeah.
Just
Invitation
different
to
authors.
Psychology or Introduction to Psychology.
Okay, sir. And sir, regarding the examination, you're
Mhm.
supposed to write in the points or paragraphs.
Points wise or paragraph wise?
Yes, sir.
Talking about your dot is that.
Sorry, sir.
I didn't get you.
I meant an exam. The answers you're supposed to write point-wise or paragraph-wise or subheadings.
So better to write subheading wise.
Okay, sir.
So that, for example, if they ask the types of memory, so better to write types of memory in the subheadings we mentioned, so that it is easy to get marks.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Right.
In exams, we can write from the books you referred also, no, sir?
Why not?
Answer.
Why not? So these books, whatever the material given to you, only limited information you will get from these books. That is the reason repeatedly I am suggesting you to refer some other books so that you will write the even assignments also. By referring, if you write assignments, by referring some other books, if you write exam assignments, you will get the good marks. I already previous class also I suggested these suggestions. So you will get out of 30, nearly 28 or 29 marks we are ready to award. But based on your writings, if you copy, you will get only the minimum marks, the pass marks. That 50% of the pass marks means 15 you will get. Clearly, I am giving that. Even prior information also I am giving. Okay, don't copy. Try to refer some other books and submit the assignment. I am talking about my subject, Principles of Psychology in the first years. Same way, second years also, counseling, that is paper 7th, so second year counseling psychology. So better to refer some books apart from your material. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Exams.
Thank you very much.